Oh, all right. Here we are, back for a drink. A little friendly gathering around a small envelope to see what's inside. Honestly, I don't remember which order what this one was. The name here just says Danik or Derek from Minnesota. So let's have at her and jog some memory cells. It has my name on it. It's always a positive. This is for me. Okay. And the way this is one has inside, you can feel that the cards are all the way to the edges. The middle's a little hollow. So I don't. I could just cut down the middle. That does strike me as a decent choice here too. But I think it's just easier to open it from the top. There we go. A few things I hope it is. Let's see what we got. Okay, well look at that. This is nothing too special or too crazy, but this was a little thing I wanted to pick up. These are really staple cards for decks that I'm playing in. And so what's here, this is a Japanese Chronicle set of Urnums, near mint condition. Price was nothing spectacular, but not terrible either. And Urnum's a good card, and it goes into a lot of decks. Now this guy, am I right about my gosh, he's put 4 cards into a top loader. I can't pull this out physically. I just want to say, that's brutal. Brutal. All right. Yeah, that crushed him pretty good on the edges. Not gonna lie. Just four cards in is really just designed to hold 2 maybe. That's I don't think that's a great idea to do it that way. Call it what it is. I mean, I don't know what to say. This top loader looks like, so ironic. Yeah, I mean, these ones are more expensive. These are Elves of Deep Shadow from the Dark. 4 of them again, and yes, this is the staple, another staple card in certain formats. It's an it's a mana dork. It's one of them's such a variety of conditions on these. Anyway, let me hold them up and I'll do the other one. Oops, sorry about that, guys. I slammed my chair right into that. So here we go. Elf of Deep Shadow. So many memes have been made about this card. Anyway, it's cool art. Definitely Jesper Myfor's style. And over here, let's try to take out these Japanese Chronicle Urnums. They're just what you think. They're just an Urnum Jin with Japanese lettering down there, and I probably prefer these to the Italian ones. Funnily enough, it's like, I know what it is and what it does, and it's almost like the Japanese script. I don't read Japanese. I don't read those Asian symbols, and it kind of just disappears and almost becomes part of the art and the style. And I don't see it as language, so I don't see that it's not in English. And I don't mind that something's not in English. Like I speak three languages myself, so it's not a big shock that something not to be in English. But there's something beautiful about those languages that you don't speak at all, and it's almost like Japanese script is artistic. And although I know this one is not calligraphy, this is just done by hand, but the scripts of the Asian languages are really quite unique. Arabic as well. Those alphabets. I just kind of like looking at them. So this is an extra play set because I do play with these a lot, like I'm saying. And I have an English copy from Legends that I'll probably put in any Swedish legal deck. But these are handy and they do the trick. And as long as you're playing with people who do know what the card does, it's not really a problem that's in another language. So I remember this order and everything is here. It should be. It was a little tight. If you're curious about how I would handle that, like I don't always say to people, hey, thanks for the mail that arrived on time. I probably should, but I've been busy. And it's not because I don't care that they took the time and care to send it properly. It's just that family of 3 kids and work, and there's just not a lot of time like I used to have to do that. But I still do like to thank people when cards arrive. At the same time, I do think that I pack a lot of cards and I sell a lot of cards that I'm not using or that I come in a collection I buy and I don't need those particular ones. So I know what it feels like to put too many cards into something. And in me, it makes a kind of like a gut check feeling where I go, okay, I'm not going to do that. I don't like that. I know if it's hard going in now, it's going to be even harder to take them out later. And you're kind of like asking the person to potentially damage the cards that they got. It doesn't matter that this is not the most expensive card. I think these are about $15 a piece or something like that. But it's like, I was taught to treat other people's property in life the way I would want them to treat my own property. In fact, to treat other people's property better than my own. And that has been a very good outlook for me overall. And I feel like, doing that has always had me sleep well at night. So if I saw someone else's cards and I was jamming it in there, it's not mine anymore. They've paid for it. So I don't like that feeling. And I'm trying to work on that as I get older, is to feel less annoyed when I see people doing things that irritate me or that I wouldn't do or that maybe experience has taught me not to do. But to this person, that might be totally fine. And most people are not great at absorbing criticism of something they do. So I often ask myself, is that a battle I want to choose to pick, and what would possibly come of that? What would I say in this scenario? Because, today, now that I've been on the earth for more than 4 decades, I think about those type of conflicts much differently than I did before, and I don't have such an immediate reaction to just, I'm going to tell that person what I think right now, or that I weigh it a lot differently. So I feel like I'm still a very confrontational person by nature. So I quite likely would consider saying something, and I wouldn't say anything more than say, perhaps, one of the top loaders, it was really difficult to get the card out. I just thought I would like you to know that 4 cards don't fit into the top loader designed for 2, basically, and that made it very hard to take them out. I'm sure they're going to have their reason to say, well, I had to fit it into that envelope and such, and like, I get it, but you have to tell them anyway, maybe. The other thing is, when you buy from someone again, maybe that's the time. I often think about timing being everything. Hey, if I bought another card for somebody, hey, you remember the last time if you say something to somebody, hey, you remember the last time, it's like you're saying that you haven't forgotten it and you noticed it and stuff, but you're not saying like, instead of going, oh, and by the way, you did this wrong, it's like you're saying, in retrospect, I just don't want you to do it that way again. And I find that that's usually received better. So picking and choosing, I may never interact with that person again, so I might not even bother to tell them that was too tight. But if I do buy a card from this person again, I'll remember that, and then that's probably how I'll approach it. If you're ever wondering how to take up issues when you're the buyer in the interaction, just always try to imagine that if you were the seller and why they might have done what they did. And a reason that's not malicious is usually the best way to go about it. They're not trying to be bad about something. Maybe they don't actually understand that it causes a problem. And still, the thing that is true is that, far too often in life, we're in such a hurry to get things done. And ironically, we should definitely not be in a hurry to share all our thoughts with other people. At the same time, we should take life and our thoughts, I think, in measure, and not be in a rush like we're going to a finish line and that there's some sort of reward for getting there faster. There's only a few things in life where there's a reward for getting there faster, and that's wisdom, is to know the difference between those two things. So this is only just to open one piece of mail. I've gone on a tangent, that is for sure, and it's true specialty of mine. I'm glad to have these cards. They're going to go into a couple of binders and then into a couple of decks down the road. And I just like buying old school cards like this from people and building up this collection I have slowly. I'm not spending fortunes on it like sometimes I've bought more expensive things. I think I am more than anything kind of just putting together pieces of cards and sets and decks that I've been missing or upgrading, but I'm not really trying to expand like crazy and have a huge collection. I feel like this is the amount of fiscal irresponsibility that I'm prepared to go into. I'm definitely not in it to make any money. I have a day job and stuff like that. When I sell a card for more than I had bought it for initially, that's a pleasant surprise, but I'm often on the other end selling a card for maybe as much exactly or slightly less than what I bought it for, and that's also okay with me. And I kind of go into buying cards with that type of understanding about them, that they're not like an asset class where you can just say that this is worth this much and then what it will be worth in the future necessarily. So I think that that's another thing I'm just going to say here, because this is a kind of some small-ish cards for me. And in a couple of weeks, I'll have a much larger shipment with stuff I've been accumulating for months, and there should be some really interesting things in there, cards that you don't always get to see people opening and stuff like that. Look forward to doing that on video, and for anybody who's interested in watching. So that's it for me tonight. As always, feel free to leave me a comment if that's your if you're inspired to do so, and otherwise just hope you enjoyed what you watched today, and take care. Bye.